Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Demonstrating Implementation Excellence stream of SNOMED-CT Expo 2024. And thank you to FAST for sponsoring this stream. My name's Elaine Wooler, and I'm a senior terminologist at SNOMED International, and I'll be moderating today's session. All questions will be answered at the conclusion of the presentation. Online attendees, please use the Q&A button to type your questions in for the presenter. On-site attendees, we've got a microphone in the room, so if you raise your hand at the end if you want to ask a question. I'm now really pleased to introduce Akhil Malhotra and Angshuman Sarkar from ThoughtWorks Technologies, who will be presenting open source clinical decision support system using SNOMED-CT. Presenters, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, hi everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. All right. Hello everyone. Post-lunch session. So please bear with me. All right. So myself and Angshuman here, we represent Bahmni, which is an open source hospital information system. Is it working? All right. So this hospital information system was designed by ThoughtWorks, but now it is run under Bahmni Coalition, which SNOMED also is a part of. They're also Bahmni Coalition members. Bahmni is, like I said, a totally fully open source hospital information system. We are present in more than 50 plus countries, 500 plus implementations that we know of. Why I say that? Because it is available online for everybody to download and start using, right? And we get almost 400 to 500 downloads every month, but we don't expect like all of them are actual implementations. So these are the implementations that we know of, but I'm sure the number is more. This is our spread across the world. We are present mostly in Asia and Africa, mostly in the LMICs, the low and middle income countries. And these are the basic functionalities that we offer. We have the clinical part, the EMR, and we also have a lab information system, PACS integration, and a fully functioning ERP and inventory management. Right. Basically, we bundle 4 open source products. OpenMRS being the backside, handling the EMR piece. The Odoo is our inventory management piece. OpenLS happens to be our open source lab information system, and DCM4G for DICOM and PACS. We have 2 versions, Bahmni Lite and Bahmni Standard. Bahmni Lite happens to be used in smaller hospitals, OPD only or less than 10 beds, thereabouts. And Bahmni Standard is the fully, functional for large hospitals. Some of the Bahmni Standard implementations are in 1,000-bed plus hospitals, university teaching hospitals in Africa. This is the feature list. We have, a complete OPD solution plus an IPD solution, and we, we had the, good fortune of being listed on the Digital X catalog, and we also happen to be a DPG certified open source product. So Digital Public Goods is basically an alliance between UNICEF and a couple of other partners that recognizes open source products. So we happen to be certified by them. Right? So last year we did an engagement with SNOMED, and what came out of this engagement was an open source clinical decision support system, which we built for all the hospitals that cannot really afford to have proprietary decision support systems. So this is again a piece which is fully open source and free to use. What we will do, through this presentation, we'll also look at some of the screenshots, how the system works. Plus, if you want a live demo, we are down there in the exhibition hall. Please visit us for the live demo as well. Right. One call out, we have created the technical capabilities for a decision support system, but we don't really bundle the rules. That is something we expect the implementations to curate on their own because it varies. And, frankly, we do not have, a lot of bandwidth to do that. We expect and, we encourage people to form a group to contribute to another open source piece by contributing to the rules, and we would be happy to get that group together and leverage their knowledge and capabilities for putting this piece together. Right. So what features did we build? We built drug diagnosis, drug interactions, drug diagnosis contraindications, and max drug dosage that can be given to a patient in a day. Right. And all of these are completely coming out of SNOMED mappings. So what a doctor can do, they can just go about using the system in a regular way, and at the back end, we leverage Snowstorm to actual to do the actual mappings on the go and generate the alerts. Right. So we offer a real-time search for the SNOMED diagnosis. You do not really need to run two different tools like your EMR and the SNOMED terminology server. You don't really need to do that. All you need to do is just search for a diagnosis term. Like a patient maybe is diagnosed with asthma. You just search for an asthma, right? You just select that, and in the back end, it automatically figures out what's the SNOMED code for it, and it also searches through the patient's history if there is anything that contradicts with asthma. So it will just send you an alert on the UI. So that for these alerts, there are also 3 different severity levels that we build in. And if you can see over here, this is a moderate alert, which is a different color. If it is a severe alert, it will be highlighted in red color, and it will not let you go further in your workflow. Right. The other features we built on SNOMED was the ICD-10 reports, because a lot of governments want you to actually do the reports in ICD-10 format. And all of those mappings are already done. They are also, you can just go into a reporting module and start generating reports. You don't need to actually do post-coordination with these terms. So, it makes it a lot more easier for anybody to just configure the reports once and just run them, every week or every month or whatever frequency, they would want to run the reports for. The last feature that we built was, a Fire-based anonymized bulk data export. This uses the Snowletical tool, which, you can just use to anonymize the data and export it in a Fire format, a Fire compatible format, and then that can be used for further analytics. Right. So, I mean, I probably don't need to reiterate the benefits a CDSS system brings in, right? It just helps with, curbing some potential mistakes that might happen in a clinical setting, or boost clinicians' efficiency. I think we all are very well aware of the benefits that the system brings in. So how do we set up the SNOMED services, right? All you need to do is acquire a license for SNOMED, or if you are a member country, the license is free. So you just choose to get a license, and you need to decide whether you want to use the Snowstorm server standard version or the light version, and just spin up the SNOMED services which are available on the Bahmni website. You can just download from there and follow the setup guide that we offer on Wiki. So our all of the steps are mentioned on that Wiki page. It's a very comprehensive terminology uh, you know guide, and then all the metadata setup that you need to do for your for your implementation, like creating the value sets, the custom value sets. Just need to do that, and just need to switch on the feature toggle for the CDSS system, right? So these are some of the screenshots that we put together. So you just select a patient and go into diagnosis. Let's say the patient has asthma, and in the medication screen, we are just typing the prescription for this patient, and in case the doctor happens to select propranolol because the patient might be hypertensive and asthma was in their history, so they just select propranolol, and this is the alert that you get. Uh, and it actually stops you from moving forward because this is a high severity alert. Right? You get an option to dismiss the alert, and then you can move forward. This is the next feature where you have the diagnosis and drug contraindications. Right? Select a diagnosis, and you get another alert that patient has asthma, and you should probably not give propranolol for them. Right? This is how the drug and contraindications look like. Similar UI for both drug diagnosis contraindications and drug interactions, so that there are no surprises, and once you are used to a certain way of using the system, everything is presented in the similar manner so that you don't miss it, right? Yeah, these are the features. Three different severity types: critical, warning, and info. A drug diagnosis interaction can have multiple alerts on the same screen. And basically the alert consists of a summary, which is shown if we go back a couple of slides. This one. So this is just a summary, right? And if you click on the icon, the question mark icon, it takes you to the documentation from where this alert is coming from, right? What is the basics of this alert? Why is this generating, right? And like it includes the link to the source of the information. Whatever link, it could be a paper journal, it could be a book chapter or anything that can be linked over there. And you can just override the critical alerts, or by providing proper justification, or for the warning alerts you can just sail through. Right? So for the technical stack, I'll request Angshuman to come over and
Yeah, I probably these are not very useful. But why did he do this? All right, you might be wondering. All right, we're not bundling the content. I mean, there is a licensing part, and Akhil said, like, generating or curating the content is a different exercise altogether. See, Bahmni is used as an open source solution, and people download it, right? And most of the time, they do not have actually the means of stitching up the different systems in a proper manner. right? People go about hacking things about, assembling some way, and eventually, when it comes to us supporting them, it has becomes impossible for us to do this. So you wanted to put some sort of a best practice, provide the technical capability to do this. Now, what does it mean? Imagine that today you have pre-carted certain rules, and tomorrow you say that, okay, I'm actually going to get a subscription from drug bank and I'm going to leverage that. Right? Now, for that purpose, your idea should be, I will change only the integration of pulling the information from the drug bank and nothing on my clinical system interfaces and anywhere things should change. Right? Now, for this, one of the key part is also how you integrate and interoperate with systems like this. And that's what we have brought in. So all that you see are actually all talking over FHIR standards. So for example, the queries that are happening, the snowstorm server, Snowlight are happening over the FHIR terminology standard specification. And what is the advantage? We have done it with the international edition. India has got its own distribution and they are actually setting up a server, which means tomorrow somebody will say, let me just change this URL and they are connected to India edition and things will work exactly the same way. Let's say another case that the CDS rules that I spoke about that actually uses the FHIR CDS hook, which means, again, nothing needs to change on the interfacing with the system. Yes, if you're bringing in drug bank, for example, that part you need to do. Obviously, they will provide APIs and other things, but the input to the drug banks, all the standardized manner, for example, would be already be provided. You will have the information in FHIR, what is the medication administration or the medication request that will be coming in, everything would be coded, and you just need to essentially call the API. Now, we have tried to make it as easy as possible. As I said, Akhil said that it doesn't really take away the effort of curating the content. I mean, if somebody doesn't says that I do not have the money to really purchase, like say, hey, drug bank subscription, yeah, sure. We have provided certain simple means of either CSVs or JSON ways saying like, this is what you do. If you have the capability, you can do that. Or as Akhil said, yeah, join us in terms of curating this content and which will be also be beneficial. And our motto has always been that we want to build this entire stack for health, which is standard driven and doesn't cost a lot of money and is easy to get up and running with. And yeah, I don't want to go through the rest of the stuff, but yeah, if you want to know more details, yeah, please catch us on third floor.
Okay, thank you very much. And do we have any questions for our presenters, please? Yep, got one over there. Just there.
Thank you. Ina Kujic, Czech Republic, Ministry of Health. Thank you for an interesting presentation. I have a simple question. If I understood well, the decision supporting system is a part of your open source hospital information integrated pack. Taking into account that this the major wealth of decision support system is the rules inside the system. And you mentioned that you have more than 50 different implementations. I don't know how many of them, of course, are using DSS. However, are you thinking about some sort of, you said that you are not delivering those rules, but maybe your clients are creating those rules, authorities are creating rules. It might be a good idea to collect them somewhere and publish them. For the global benefit. Is there something in your roadmap or not? Thank you.
We would love to do that. We are actually present in 50 plus countries. From known sources, Akhil probably gathered the data, little this thing. We know that there are about 1,000 plus implementations, but there could be potentially much more. Yes, you were right. That curating this content and the rules is a significant effort, right? And we are looking forward. So one of the organization is Cure International, for example, and we worked with them in the past. They specifically are into like, children health, for example. They provide specialized hospitals for them. So one initiative has gone, and that is specifically concentrated on child health, right? Or the programs they support. There are others, for example, that we want to do, so for example, I work with a society called RSSDY. It is a Society for Study of Diabetes in India, for example, and they wanted to create certain rules as such. So we'll potentially start with them. It will probably be easier also because it will be probably a smaller subset of work. But we are forever looking for such initiative, right? Like, please, if you are interested, check with us, please.
It's wonderful that you're making this open source system available. Obviously, there's quite a few components. I know you've Dockerized everything, so it's fairly easy to deploy, but there's probably a fair amount of configuration that needs to happen. If someone was interested to deploy their system, like what do they need to think about? Do they need like a big technical team, or like is there like a lot of documentation? How do they go about deploying something like this?
Yeah. See, Bahmni is quite a generic tool, right? But it provides the building blocks. So if you download today, for example, potentially in half an hour, you're up and running, right? Now, how contextualized it is, for example, for your use cases, that may vary, right? So typically, if somebody downloads it for general hospital setting, this is fine. Is it going to support oncology, diabetes, for example? No, right? Again, for this, you need to contextualize. And the main effort, for example, is to curating this content and putting them together. Now, how easy it is, for example, it is fairly easy. And there is already the documentation in the wiki. If you go there, Bahmni SNOMED, for example, or even if you type on the Google, for example, Bahmni SNOMED, that'll probably be the first link that you are going to get. You just need to follow that. Now, deploying that is again easy, right? It's probably one single command saying like, I have deployed this, start it off. Again, you are up and running. There are obviously scope for improvements. So for example, some of these value sets, right? We have given example, right? Saying like, this is how you do it. You might want to automate that, which we don't think is a big work, right? You will say, okay, lots of times I've seen clinicians like, or others clinical teams curating in a CSV, right? Or an Excel sheet. So you probably have to figure out, get some developer help saying like, okay, I'm going to read from the CSV, like, then make a API call. Yes, but it is fairly easy if you like, want to set it up and up. Yeah.
Oh, one more question there.
This is a great presentation. And so it looks like that the full Bahmni, I've been looking at Bahmni for a while actually, but the full is mostly oriented towards the hospital environment and all that. But Bahmni Light, it sounds like you're focusing on more of the outpatient, ambulatory, workflow. One thing I'm wondering about, I haven't been able to really figure out exactly how you're managing something that's very important, in all practice, but particularly in outpatient practice, medications and particularly the ability to write a prescription, and utilize e-prescribing and things like that. And I'm not sure how well, if that's supported or if it's planned to be supported, or what your philosophy is on that.
So a couple of things. You would have seen the screen. Maybe I can go there quickly. So if you see the screen, which is basically the interface for as such. So one thing you can do is there are templates. So you can say is this, that if the patient is of this age group, right, of a particular say gender as such, and as soon as you pick up a certain drug, most of the things get filled in. Now that takes time, obviously, to set up in a way. And we have curated certain common ones, which is if for India's list of essential medicines that we have curated that, which is not a lot. You can say there are only about 200 drugs or so, right? But good enough. And especially with the SNOMED right now, doesn't matter how many brands you put in, because if they're encoded, for example, we immediately pick up that, hey, this is the drug ID extension, and we immediately fill it up. Other thing that we are trying currently, there is this thing, we are, imagine like a conversational UI. You come in over here, click a button, and this is right now in play. We haven't deployed it. It's not available on the released version. And you just say, or propranolol drug, 1 tablet 3 times a day, etc. And it will immediately understand, because it's on this context, what all the elements, it will figure out what is the dosage format, what rates, and it will populate that, which we believe will significantly reduce the time. Right? And as soon as you do this, all other rules will kick in. Now we have big ambitions. What if we can author the rules also through such a conversational UI? Right? That will seriously probably reduce the time.
And I've just got hopefully time for one quick online question from Michael Roof from Jamaica. Thanking you for your presentation. And he was just saying that if a client has a pre-existing standard Snowstorm server, can Bahmni connect to that, or does the client need to connect to yours?
No, Bahmni can connect to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring in another one quickly then. I think we've just got time.
Yeah.
And he said, does Bahmni assist their clients with the CDSS rules?
No, that's
No.
what we've been
Yeah.
saying. We don't bundle the rules.
Okay.
Yeah, there are few examples that we have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, we'll conclude the session. And online delegates, if you can stay for the next presentation in the stream, or access another session through the event lobby.